We're living through one of the biggest, most fundamental transformations in all of human history. Seriously, the very foundation of our world, energy, is shifting from a model of scarcity to one of, well, incredible abundance. In this explainer, we're going to break down how this is happening and why it's about to change pretty much everything. So let's just dive right in with a massive question. What if the most fundamental resource for our entire civilization? What if energy was no longer expensive or scarce? Just take a second and imagine what happens to our society, to our economy, to human potential, when power becomes universally available and basically almost free. Okay, so before we can really wrap our heads around the future, we have to understand our past and our present. The source material calls the world we live in now a Day 2 civilization, and its entire operating system is built on one core idea: scarcity. For the last couple of centuries, our world has run on a pretty simple, and you could say a pretty brutal premise. We find finite things like coal, oil, and gas, we dig them out of the ground, and we burn them. That single process has defined our entire industrial era. And this system, this idea of extraction, it shaped everything. I mean everything. Because fossil fuels are only in certain places, right? So controlling them became a source of immense geopolitical power and, of course, conflict. And because all that energy flowed from these massive centralized plants, we, the consumers, were just passive recipients at the end of the line with very little control. But that Day 2 world, well, it's starting to crumble. It's giving way to something totally new. We are in this turbulent, but honestly incredibly exciting transition phase, what the source calls Day 3, where that old system is being replaced by something fundamentally different. Now, here's the real kicker. The single biggest driver of this whole transition, it isn't politics, it isn't ideology, it's pure, simple economics. As you can see here, solar and wind have become the cheapest forms of new electricity in human history. They're completely undercutting the old fossil fuel model. It's just a better deal. And this, right here, this is the crucial point. We are fundamentally changing our relationship with energy. Think about that. We are moving from extracting a finite stock of resources from the ground to harvesting energy from infinite natural flows, like sunlight and wind. It is a monumental shift in how we power our world. And look, this isn't just about swapping a coal plant for a solar farm. The entire architecture of the system is being flipped on its head. We're going from a few huge power plants to literally millions of generation points, like solar panels on our own rooftops. This transforms us from just passive consumers into active prosumers, people who both produce and consume energy. So, how does this new system actually work? Well, it's a whole stack of technologies working together. You've got rooftop solar, which decentralizes production right where we live and work. Then you have community batteries to solve that old problem of, the sun not shining at night. This gives us power 24/7. Then there are microgrids, these cool, resilient local networks that can keep the lights on even if the main grid goes down. And get this, peer-to-peer trading platforms that can even let you sell your excess solar power directly to your neighbor. Okay, so this whole transition, it isn't just some temporary phase. It's building towards a completely new state that the source material calls Day 4, a world where this new energy system has fully come of age. So, in this Day 4 future, energy stops being a commodity, something you constantly have to worry about and buy. It becomes more like a fundamental utility, a baseline service that's just there, kind of like how we expect to have access to clean water from the tap. Now, the economic engine driving all of this is a concept called near-zero marginal cost, and it's a total game changer. Here's how it works. Once a solar panel is built and installed, the fuel, the sunlight, is absolutely free. That means the cost of producing one more unit of electricity is practically zero. This one simple fact completely breaks all the old scarcity-based economic models. And this is where the implications just become staggering. Abundant energy is the master resource. It's the key that unlocks everything else. Once you have near-zero-cost energy, you can power desalination plants for abundant fresh water, you can fuel automated vertical farms for abundant food, you can even power the robots that will build abundant, low-cost housing. It's a domino effect. So let's zoom out for a second. What's the ultimate impact of all this? Why does this shift from scarcity to abundance truly, deeply matter for all of us? Because it's a fundamental change in the human experience. A world built on energy scarcity creates a psychology of fear and a social fabric of competition over limited resources. But when the essentials of life are no longer scarce, we can shift to a psychology of possibility, a social fabric of cooperation, and a shared goal of, well, human flourishing. At the end of the day, this isn't just about changing our power plants. This is about upgrading our entire civilizational operating system. We have the chance to redesign our world, not around a constant struggle for survival, but around the shared goal of helping every single person to thrive. And that leaves us with a final and pretty provocative thought. The technologies to build this abundant future, they're largely here today. The solar panels, the batteries, the smart grids, they all exist. The true challenge, the real bottleneck, it isn't technological. It's a human one. It's about whether we, as a civilization, can mature enough to build the cooperative systems we need to manage this incredible new abundance.